The world is filled with people who want to control you. At work, in relationships, even in friendships. The problem is, most people don't know how to defend themselves, let alone dominate the game. Today, you will learn 8 ruthless lessons that kings have used for centuries to stay untouchable, respected, and dangerously intelligent. Number 1. Control perception, not reality. The mind of the king does not waste itself in chasing reality, for reality is too complex, too vast, and too uncontrollable. What can be controlled, however, is the vision of reality that others believe. The world does not see truth. It sees shadows, illusions, and appearances, and from these appearances, it builds loyalty or hatred, respect or contempt. If you wish to rule, you must never concern yourself with the truth of what is, but with the theater of what seems to be. Consider the battlefield. A ruler does not always win through strength, but through the rumor of his strength. The mere belief that he is invincible makes enemies hesitate, allies rally, and subjects obey. This is the secret of perception. It bends reality itself. If people believe you are wise, even your mistakes will be seen as strategy. If they believe you are strong, your silence will be mistaken for patience. If they believe you are favored by fortune, every event will be interpreted as proof of your destiny. The masses hunger for certainty, and you must feed them what they crave. Never allow them to glimpse your confusion, your doubts, or your flaws, for once they taste weakness, they will devour you. Instead, cloak yourself in confidence, even when you are uncertain. Cloak yourself in control, even when chaos reigns around you. The illusion becomes stronger than the reality, and soon reality itself bends to the illusion. To control perception is to control minds, and to control minds is to command actions without ever lifting a sword. This is why kings wear crowns, why thrones are raised high, why rituals and symbols are endlessly repeated. They are not decorations, they are instruments of control, designed to convince the people that they kneel not to a man, but to an idea. For the man may die, but the perception lives on, stronger than any truth hidden in silence. Number 2. Be feared more than loved. Love is fragile, built on shifting sands of emotion. It rises when you are useful, when you give, when you please. But it falls the moment you deny, the moment you disappoint, the moment someone else offers more. Love is conditional, tied to favors and feelings. And because it depends on the heart of another, it cannot be commanded. Fear, however, rests in your own hands. Fear is born not from the whim of others, but from the certainty of consequences. Where love falters, fear endures. A ruler who seeks only to be loved will forever be a servant to the moods of his people, bending and changing to satisfy them. But a ruler who instills fear secures respect even from those who hate him. Hatred is dangerous only when it feels safe to be expressed. But fear binds hatred in silence, forcing even enemies to bow in obedience. Fear establishes a boundary that cannot be crossed, for it teaches others that betrayal will be met with swift and certain punishment. It is not cruelty that creates lasting authority, but the perception of strength. To be feared does not mean to be reckless with violence. It means to be so decisive, so unwavering, that none dare test your resolve. When people fear disappointing you, they serve with greater diligence than they ever would out of love. When they fear losing your favor, they guard it with more devotion than any affection could inspire. Love makes men comfortable, but fear keeps them alert. Love breeds expectations, while fear prevents entitlement. One who is feared walks into a room and commands silence, respect, and obedience without uttering a word. One who is merely loved must speak, plead, and justify his authority. This is the difference between a king and a servant dressed as one. Number 3. Never reveal weakness. The psychology of power demands that weakness remain hidden. For the moment it is seen, it becomes a weapon in the hands of others. Men are not as merciful as they claim to be. They are opportunistic, waiting for a single crack in your armor to thrust the blade. If you reveal your doubts, they will be magnified in whispers. If you display your fears, they will be used to corner you. If you show despair, you invite not comfort, but contempt. Power is not only about strength. It is about the illusion of being untouchable, an illusion shattered the moment weakness leaks into the eyes of others. In courts and councils, in alliances and rivalries, eyes are always searching for signs of frailty. The rival who smiles at your confession of insecurity is already calculating how to exploit it. The ally who nods with sympathy is already questioning your ability to lead. Even those closest to you, bound by loyalty today, may someday turn that knowledge against you when ambition overtakes affection. This is why a king learns to bury his wounds deep within his chest, never allowing them to surface where others may drink from them like predators at a stream. Strength must not only be possessed, but displayed. To falter in private is human, but to falter in public is to write your own downfall. Even if storms rage within your mind, your face must remain calm, as though you are in command of every wave. Even if doubts gnaw at your heart, your words must flow with certainty, as though you are incapable of hesitation. For people believe not in truth, but in what they see. When they see strength, they will trust, obey, and even fear. When they see weakness, they will circle like vultures, waiting for the fall. Number 4. Use silence as a weapon. The tongue is the greatest betrayer of men. With every word spoken, a piece of strategy is revealed, a thought is exposed, an intention is laid bare. Those who cannot master their speech become prisoners of it, giving away power without even knowing it. Silence, on the other hand, is a fortress. It conceals your thoughts, it forces others into uncertainty, and it makes your presence heavier than words ever could. A king who speaks little makes men wonder what he is hiding, and in that wondering, they begin to fear him. Silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. It creates space where others feel compelled to fill the void, and in their eagerness to speak, they reveal their own secrets, their weaknesses, their desires. The man who waits in silence learns more in a single conversation than the man who interrupts and argues, because words are arrows and silence is the shield that collects them all. The wise ruler knows that control of speech is control of power, and that the fewer words he uses, the greater each one becomes. In courts, silence makes men uneasy. They interpret it as judgment, as disapproval, as hidden strength. When a ruler remains quiet, his subjects debate endlessly about what he may be thinking, granting him power over their minds without lifting a finger. In battle, silence before a strike terrifies more than noise, for it is the stillness of a predator that makes the prey tremble. In alliances, silence unsettles even the closest of friends, reminding them that loyalty is never assured. The man who always speaks is predictable, easy to read, and easy to control. The man who holds his tongue, who lets silence stretch until it cuts deeper than any insult, is the one who commands fear, respect, and submission. Number 5. Appear generous, but take strategically. True generosity is a luxury for the powerless. A king cannot afford to give freely without purpose, for every gift must serve as an investment, every act of kindness as a chain that binds the receiver to his will. To appear generous is to win hearts, but to give without strategy is to lose control. The wise ruler cloaks calculation beneath the mask of benevolence, making his subjects believe he is moved by compassion, when in truth he is securing obedience. Generosity is a spectacle. People do not remember what you keep, only what you give. Yet if you give too much, they grow entitled. If you give too little, they grow resentful. The balance lies in appearing as though you are the source of their fortune, while ensuring they remain dependent on you. A single calculated gift, given at the right moment, can create lifelong loyalty, whereas endless charity only breeds ingratitude. Men do not love the giver, they love what is given, and once the supply ends, so does their affection. Thus, the ruler must craft his generosity as a weapon. He must reward loyalty not out of kindness, but to display that loyalty brings profit. He must give to some and deny others, creating a hunger that drives men to compete for his favor. When a gift is given, it should not be forgotten. It should be remembered as a debt, silently demanding repayment in service and devotion. Even the act of mercy must be calculated. To spare one enemy is to win a servant, but to spare too many is to weaken authority. To feed the poor is to inspire gratitude, but to feed them too well is to encourage idleness. Every coin, every favor, every gesture must return to the throne multiplied. The king who understands this ensures that his generosity costs him nothing, while binding others to him with invisible chains stronger than iron. Number 6. Turn enemies into stepping stones. A wise ruler does not waste enemies, for an enemy is more valuable than a friend when used correctly. Friends are often blind with loyalty, speaking what pleases you, hiding what offends you, and in their devotion, they may dull your vigilance. But enemies sharpen your mind, forcing you to watch, to anticipate, to grow stronger. They reveal weaknesses in your walls, expose flaws in your strategies, and keep you from falling into the complacency that destroys kingdoms. To hate an enemy blindly is to waste him. To use him as a stepping stone is to turn his resistance into your elevation. An enemy is the greatest stage upon which a king can display his strength. Without opposition, power goes unnoticed. But when you defeat an enemy, when you outwit him, when you bend his defiance into submission, the world sees your power magnified. Even the attempt of an enemy to harm you can be twisted into advantage, for when you survive, it is not survival alone that matters, but the legend of surviving against those who sought your ruin. Do not rush to destroy every rival. Sometimes it is better to let them breathe, to let their whispers grow, and then to silence them at the moment when all are watching. Their fall becomes your triumph. Their hatred becomes the fire that forges your reputation. Even in their plotting, they serve you, for they keep your followers united in loyalty, reminding them of the dangers that only you can protect them from. To turn an enemy into a stepping stone is not always to crush him, but to use him. Some are useful as warnings, some as examples, and some even as allies once their pride has been broken. The path to the throne is rarely smooth, and it is the bodies of enemies, not the hands of friends, that pave the way to greatness. Number 7. Master the art of withdrawal. A ruler who is always present becomes ordinary, and what is ordinary cannot command awe. Familiarity breeds not respect, but comfort, and comfort soon leads to disregard. The king who wishes to be revered must learn the art of withdrawal, the careful vanishing act that transforms his presence into a rare and precious thing. For when men see you too often, they forget your weight. When they struggle to reach you, your value multiplies and your absence becomes as powerful as your presence. Withdrawal is not weakness, nor is it neglect. It is strategy. To retreat at the right moment is to increase desire, to ignite curiosity, to create whispers that grow in the silence you leave behind. Those who do not master this art exhaust themselves by constant exposure, giving away their authority piece by piece until nothing remains but a hollow figure. But one who withdraws deliberately teaches others that his presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. In councils, a ruler who speaks too often dilutes his words, but when he withholds them, every sentence carries the weight of command. In court, a ruler who attends every feast becomes a companion, but one who attends rarely is celebrated as a monarch. Even in war, withdrawal has power. The army that vanishes into the shadows terrifies its enemy more than the army that strikes without pause, for the unknown is more frightening than the known. Absence, when mastered, is not emptiness but dominance. It forces men to think of you, to speak of you, to imagine you. It turns your image into something larger than life, untouchable, almost divine. The art lies in knowing when to step back, when to deny access, when to let silence and distance work in your favor, until those who once took you for granted now hunger for a glimpse of you, as though your very presence were a gift descending from above. Number 8. Strike decisively, not repeatedly. Power is not maintained through endless blows, but through the precision of a single strike that leaves no room for recovery. To attack constantly is to reveal impatience, to show desperation, and to dull the fear your actions should inspire. Men grow accustomed to repeated wounds, but they never forget the one that ended a rival swiftly, with no hesitation and no chance for resistance. A decisive act imprints itself upon memory, echoing far longer than countless smaller gestures that fade into obscurity. The true strength of a ruler is measured not in how often he acts, but in how effectively. One carefully chosen punishment silences more rebellion than 100 warnings. One well-timed dismissal teaches more loyalty than endless corrections. The decisive strike tells the world that hesitation does not exist within your nature, that once you have chosen a course, you will see it through with absolute resolve. It is this certainty that instills fear, and fear is the guardian of authority. Repetition breeds contempt, but swiftness creates terror. An enemy who is cut down with precision does not inspire pity, but awe. A rival who is dismantled completely serves as a reminder to all others that challenging you is a gamble with only one outcome. Even mercy, when granted, carries more weight after a decisive show of power, for it is understood that you could have destroyed, yet chose to spare. The world respects clarity, not hesitation. 1,000 small acts confuse, but a single overwhelming act defines you. Just as a sword that strikes once with precision is deadlier than one swung wildly, so too must your actions be calculated and rare, but final. Through this, you create not only obedience, but legend, for men do not retell the story of repeated efforts. They retell the story of the one stroke that changed everything. The psychology of the king is not a gentle philosophy, but a ruthless discipline. It is the art of commanding respect without begging for it, of shaping perception instead of chasing truth, of turning even enemies into the foundation of your rise. These lessons are not meant to make you kind, nor to make you pleasing. They are meant to make you untouchable. The world is not ruled by those who seek fairness, but by those who understand the game and dare to play it with precision. To control how others see you, to be feared more than loved, to conceal weakness, to wield silence, to give with strategy, to rise upon your enemies, to master absence, and to strike with finality. These are not suggestions, they are the laws of power itself. Those who fail to learn them will remain pawns in a game they do not even realize is being played. But those who master them will walk with the mind of a king, commanding loyalty, commanding fear, and commanding destiny. For in the end, the crown belongs not to the one who inherits it, but to the one who understands how to keep it.